How strong is too strong? So what's strength? In the simplest form, strength is the ability to apply force to an opposing object or even to the earth. So we can think about how strength is related to power development. Jumping ability. Strength can be related to speed. Strength can be related to absolute strength, obviously. Strength is also related to hypertrophy work, where we want to increase the size of the muscular structure and then enhance the innervation capability. And in reality, if we dumb it down, strength is really going to come back to how much you bench, how much do you clean, how much do you squat. So when we're talking about strength and being in the weight room strong, we have to discuss athletic capability and what our sporting needs are. So typically we have to break it down in two different aspects. One, open skilled sports. So open skilled athletics is going to be an unplanned movement pattern. So football, basketball, lacrosse, soccer, these are all things that are not repetitive. They're going to be very unplanned. That's where the requirement for chaos coordination comes into play. There's a large amount of force needed to execute moves in these different sports, and there's also a large amount of mobility that will be needed to execute proper movement patterns. And then that takes us into closed skilled sports. So closed skilled sport would be something that's repetitive. The 100 meters, it's pre-planned. Spinning in the discus or the shot put, it's pre-planned. We know exactly what is needed. Or if we're even weightlifting, it's a snatch, it's a clean and jerk. That's a closed skilled sport. So instead of chaos coordination, we have chronic coordination, and there's going to be consistent issues and consistent tendencies that we need to train for and that we need to prevent injury-wise that occur in those closed skilled sports. They're a lot more predictable than the chaos coordination open skilled sports. Strength is also related to injury prevention, especially when we start to identify problem areas with rate of speed. Think about the elbow for a tennis player at a high speed or the shoulder for a shot putter at really high speed. And if you need some help with your injury prevention, head over to PowerLastics.com, pick up your PowerLastics band today. So part of strength training is we have to identify our opposition and the load of the opposition that we're going to be facing. For football, we're going to have heavier opposition with high load. Boom! For tennis or badminton, the opposition is going to be the racket and our perception of how our opponent is moving. For baseball, it's going to be the ball or a weighted bat. For wrestling, our opposition is going to be a heavy load that's opposing our forces. For shot put or discus, our opposition is going to be our body weight and the implements that we're throwing. So we can take all this information and then we can break down what's an open skilled with light opposition. Think about tennis. Open skilled sport with heavy opposition. Think about football or wrestling. And then we can go into closed skilled sports with heavy opposition. Think about weightlifting. Or closed skilled sports with light opposition. That's going to be maybe swimming and even throwing. Once we identify the sport type, then we can start to focus on, are we training solely for injury prevention or are we training for chaos coordination? So we need to analyze individuals and sport trends. Where are the problem areas in specific sports? Okay, let's go back to that closed skilled sport. We know that most throwers that rotate a lot are going to have lower back pain on their non-dominant side. We know that most pitchers will have shoulder or elbow pain because of significant load on their shoulders and elbows. So we need to identify that with our strength in the weight room. We also know what specific movements will transfer well to those sports. How much does that specific sport need technical coordination or absolute strength or hypertrophy work or reflexive work to improve your overall performance while also mitigating exposure to injury? So establishing those baseline numbers is key. If we're thinking about sports with light opposition, the first thing that we have to do with men is we've got to at least clean body weight. At least clean body weight if we're in a light opposition sport. For women, ideally, we would also clean body weight. That would be absolutely phenomenal. For back squat, we want our men to hit at least 1.5 times body weight and our women 1.25 to 1.4 times body weight. For pull-ups, we want our women to do 5 to 7 reps and our men to be able to bust out 10 pull-ups. For bench press, we want our women to do body weight or slightly below body weight, while men should do body weight to 1.25 times body weight. Boo! For heavy opposition sports, think about football, think about wrestling. We want our men to be able to squat 2 times body weight. We want our women to squat 1.5 to 1.7 times body weight. For pull-ups, we want our men to get 10 to 20 pull-ups. For our women, we want 10 dead hang pull-ups. For bench press, we want to see 1.75 times body weight or a little bit higher, but 1.75 times is substantial. For women, 1.25 times body weight. For a clean, we want our men to hit 1.6 times body weight. For women, 1.25 times body weight. So we went over the simplest terms of strength-based training and how strength can help performance. We know that strength can improve jumping ability. We know it can improve absolute strength, relative strength, technical coordination, reflexive work, even speed. But we also have to have that baseline to establish those benchmarks, so now we know where we're gonna work towards. Typically, sports with light opposition don't need as much strength when compared to those sports that have heavier opposition. So put those baseline numbers in your back pocket, make sure that you understand where you need to work towards, all while improving your overall sports performance. And if this is something that you're struggling with, click on the link down below, head over to garagestrength.com, and you can pick up the Sports Performance Bible. It's a book and video course where we attack all these different problems to educate you to become a better athlete. Remember, freaks, if you want to become a champion, you've always got to cultivate your power. Peace.